Yes, someone down here. Yeah, let's ask this young lady right here. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Savannah, and I was wondering, do you agree with like welfare and food stamps and stuff like that?
The question is, do I agree?
Like that America should have that.
Yeah. Do I agree with welfare and food stamps and other such stuff? Now, that's a little bit of a complicated question because let me look at it this way. The number of people who are on food stamps in the United States, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but the number escalated dramatically in Obama's America. In other words, let's just say, for example, and I'm making up these numbers, that there were 30 million people on food stamps, or 40 million people on food stamps. Suddenly, in 8 years, 70 million people are getting food stamps. Yep. This is because Democrats like to expand the reach of food stamps. Now, the important thing to realize is for Democrats, it's considered free stuff. Because you get a card, you can go to the grocery store, and you can get stuff without paying for it or by paying with the food stamps, with the EBT card. The question I would have is this: did the number of hungry people in America increase from 40 million to 70 million in 8 years? Was the Obama economy so terrible? Did he do such a horrible job that essentially he flung 30 million people into poverty who now need to be fed at someone else's expense? Remember, Milton Friedman, the economist, once said, there's no such thing as a free lunch. By which he meant that nothing's free. People say, well, education's free. Education's not free. It costs money to have this building. It costs money to use this technology. It costs money to have books. Somebody's paying for it. Somebody's paying for it. So is it fair? It looks to me, am I in favor of food stamps? Yes. Am I in favor of unemployment benefits? Yes. But I would confine those things to what FDR himself called the truly needy. Or one scholar, William Julius Wilson, calls it the truly disadvantaged. We have to be careful to make sure that the guy that we're giving the free stuff to, A, really deserves it, and B, is also going to work to get himself or herself off the free stuff. We need to set up ways, because whenever you do things that are supposedly good for free, you create bad incentives. Let me give you one example. This relates to Obamacare. Isn't healthcare right? Because after all, people get sick. Shouldn't we be able to give them health care? Well, let me ask you this. Isn't food a right? Shouldn't people have a right to food? Now, let's imagine that the US government were to say to you, okay, you have a right to food. So when you go to Kroger, you just fill up your cart with what you think you need for the week's groceries. But when you show up at the counter, you don't have to pay. You just take the stuff and go. What would happen? What would actually happen in this country if you did that? Well, you'd say, first of all, normally I buy 2 cartons of milk, but it's free. I'll buy 10. So you fill up your cart. Your cart is huge. You show up at the counter. Now, the person at the counter doesn't really care, but somebody owns that store. The guy who owns Kroger, John Kroger. I'm just guessing it's him. He goes, hey, I noticed people are taking all this stuff. But, an even more important realization, none of them are really paying. This is great, because since some other guy is paying, I will now start charging $40 for a carton of milk. Why? Because the guy's not going to care. It's free to him. He's not paying, so suddenly milk now costs $40. And who's paying? The taxpayer. The third guy who's not at Kroger, who gets no milk. That's the guy footing the bill. And who's ripping him off? 2 people are ripping him off, Kroger and the customer. Because the customer is taking more milk than he or she needs, and Kroger's making a profit that's undeserved because some third guy is being cheated. So what I'm getting at is that politics can be a form of cheating. Politics can be a form of 2 guys getting together to rip off some third guy. And part of being smart is figuring that out, not just being an idiot and going, oh, I like free stuff. Realizing nothing's free. Someone's paying. Who's paying? Is it fair that they should pay? This is part of our democratic debate. And I'm not trying to resolve it again. I'm just trying to teach you how to think about it and to look behind the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz. Let's look behind the curtain to see what's really going on.